And now, it's time for another Dice Tower review with Tom Vasel.
Hey folks, I'm Tom Vasel. Today we're taking a look at a game from Ares called Divinity Derby. Apparently there's some mythical beasts that are racing, and you are one of a bunch of gods who are getting together to bet on these horses, or creatures. Yeah, you're right, this really could have been a horse race, but they added, the gods and things like that. Not necessary, but it does add some to it. Some of the people who played this said it takes a lot from Hab and Gut, which is an older racing game that I've not played. But the people who did play it said this is a lot of similarities into that. But I'm coming into this. This is yet another betting racing game. There's a decent amount of those out there. Is this one worthy to be looked at? The game is made up of 3 races, and in each race there's going to be these same 6 creatures running around. There's going to be a certain number of bidding tokens that are placed down for each creature based on the number of players in the game. Each player is also going to get a whole bunch of cards that matches their god, as well as a token of their god. Now at the beginning of each race, players are going to bet on two different racers. So I might bet here, let's say I'm going to bet on the Phoenix, and I'm going to pick one of my betting cards. So I might pick the Phoenix to come in last place. If I do so, I'm going to get 7 points. I might also pick maybe the Unicorn here, and that one I say will come in first or second place, in which case I get 4 points. So everyone knows which creatures you're betting on, but they don't know how you're betting on them. So that's going to take place. Everyone's going to go around and bet on the different creatures. Then everyone's going to get a certain number of cards. Each player gets a tray that's placed between you and the next player, and a certain number of cards can be put in each tray, depending on the number of players in the game. Then one player is going to start, and you're going to pull a card from both trays next to you, and you're going to play those 2 cards. Now you can pick the order to play the cards, but you have to play a card, one from each tray. When you play a card, you're going to pick one to go fast and one to go slow. So the first one you play will be fast. So maybe I play this one. The Unicorn now moves 4 spaces. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I play this one here. The Moth guy goes 2 spaces. 1, 2. Now, when you're playing, if you play the fast speed one, the first card, you can also use Dirty Tricks. So this one can go 1, but I might say, I'm going to do Dirty Tricks. So he's actually going to go 4 when I play him. When that happens, you're going to place a Dirty Tricks card in this pile here. This pile is already seated with 4 Protection of the God cards, but you're going to be adding other Dirty Trick cards there throughout the game. This is going to keep going until you pass the yellow line or the orange line, depending on the number of players. When that happens, everyone gets to make one more bet as soon as the first creature passes that. Then you keep going. As each creature passes the finish line, you will put them in order as they cross the finish line, like this, or until all the cards run out, and in which case you just put them here in order based on their finishing positions. Then you're going to shuffle this pile here, like this. So we shuffle these, and then we're going to draw 2 of these cards. And the protection, nothing happens, but I drew the dragon. So the dragon is eliminated from the race because he was cheating, and Zeus incinerates him with a lightning bolt. And now everyone then looks at their cards. Did the Phoenix come in last place? No. Did the horse come in first or second place? No. Each card I do get correct, I put underneath my God token, and those are points at the end of the game. And I will continue doing this for the second and the third race. Now there's some other things that you can do. You can make it so that whenever you pull a protection card, a Zeus protection card, it doesn't go back in, making each race harder and for people to get kicked out. I actually prefer doing that quite a bit. You also have special cards you can give each of the gods, where they have very specific special cards that they can play, including one that has a token you'll put on the board, and when someone lands on that token, something will happen. But anyway, after 3 races, you'll count all the points on the cards that you have successfully done, and whoever has the most points is the winner of the game. So the game, these are pretty nice miniatures here that come with this game. They're tall, they really fall over very easily. They have bases here so you can easily tell them because the cards are colored. However, not all the bases fit on properly. Some of them do. I found the bases okay. The board itself looks really nice. It's a very cool looking board. The cards themselves are decent quality, easy to tell. And you can even keep the miniatures in a plastic tray that comes with the game. These hold everything up. It's decent components overall. Okay, so that's Divinity Derby. It is a simple game in which you are racing creatures, but it's a game with a lot of laugh out loud moments because you're watching as people bet, and really at the beginning you don't know what they bet on. They might have bet on the horse to be first or last. So the betting cards essentially are things like first place, first and second, last place or next to last, first, second, or third, or you can even pick, are they disqualified? Which is great, right? So if I see someone cheating, I'm thinking, do they want that person to be disqualified? Or maybe they just want them to win. And I can see the cards that are in the rack next to me, so I can see the cards you're picking, and I'm like, oh man, I better pick that. He bet on the Pegasus, and there's a card there that will really help the Pegasus out. I probably should take that card and make the Pegasus go a little bit slower. I like this a lot. That's a lot of fun. The special abilities of the gods are okay. They add some stuff to the game, but they add a little bit more fiddliness. I think the game in its basic form is best. The only thing I would do is like what I said, is that protection of the gods. I would take those cards out as they show up, making the second and third races a little more intense. Because you're never quite sure if a creature is going to go out. And if that dragon's been cheating several times, maybe the dragon is gone. So while the theming, the Olympus and gods and Zeus there being the judge, that's not necessary. It works in this situation. It actually makes sense, too, that Zeus is incinerating them with lightning bolts if they're disqualified. But the whole concept of betting on people to go first or last is good. Like I said, it's been in games before. But here, the chance that you can deliberately make someone cheat, the fact that you have the cards between you and the next player, I like that. It makes this one feel a little different than other races. And it also does not take a long time. It's easy to teach and play. And I feel like it's one that people really get into. Now, you can play with, there's various amounts of players that are on the box. Let's see, this one here says it is 3 to 6. I've not played with 3, so I don't know how that low number works. But I think this is one of those games where higher numbers work better because there's a lot more people interfering with the horses. And I keep calling them horses, the creatures. But that does make it a little bit more chaotic, but in this sense, I think the chaos adds to the fun. This is not a game to go into too seriously because you can mess up. You can say this guy's going to be disqualified, he's not. This guy's going to be first, he's not. And someone else might just get lucky, or it just might work out that they picked the same horse as someone else and it won. But that's okay because it's a rollicking good time. And I like games that give you that rollicking good time. So yeah, it's a Divinity-inspired theming racing game, Divinity Derby. I like it. Dice Tower Judgment approved.